There are challenges that test the body. And then, there are challenges that test the soul. Superman, the Man of Steel, had faced countless foes, villains with powers beyond imagination, cosmic threats that could destroy planets, armies led by the cruelest minds in the universe. Yet, nothing had ever prepared him for the arrival of the One Ring. Forged in the fires of Mount Doom, the ring carried a darkness older than time itself. Its whispers could seduce kings, enslave the strongest minds, and corrupt even the purest hearts. And now, by some twist of fate, it had crossed worlds. It was in his hands. And for the first time, Superman felt vulnerability, not in muscle or speed, but in spirit. The metal was deceptively light, yet heavy with malevolence. A pulse seemed to radiate from it, syncing with his heartbeat, probing his thoughts, testing his will. Frodo, Gandalf, Sauron, Gollum, all stories of courage and corruption flashed before him. Could a being fueled by solar energy resist what had undone kings and hobbits alike? The ring whispered, promising unlimited power. It offered visions of a world remade according to his will. Cities free of crime, wars ended, lives saved before they were lost. But every promise carried a shadow, an image of himself ruling not as a hero, but as a tyrant. A hero enslaved by temptation. Superman clenched his fists. Truth, justice, compassion, these were his shields. The sun's energy coursed through him, yet here, in the presence of ancient evil, even solar power felt secondary. The ring's influence was subtle, insidious. It attacked not the body but the mind, not the flesh but the soul. He tried to focus. Memories of Earth, of Lois Lane, of those he had sworn to protect, swirled in his mind like a storm. The ring pressed against his thoughts, amplifying every doubt, every fear. Could he resist? Could he survive the One Ring when the likes of Frodo had struggled and kings had fallen? Even his superhuman senses faltered. The whispers grew louder, urging him to take what was offered, to reshape reality, to end suffering forever. And yet, Superman understood the cost. Those who sought the ring's power were never the same again. The seduction left scars, invisible yet deep. The strongest wills cracked under its weight. The first test was internal. Doubt, temptation, desire. Every instinct screamed to wield the ring, yet every principle whispered restraint. For the first time, Superman realized that no enemy in Metropolis had ever challenged him like this. The ring required more than strength. It demanded integrity, discipline, and the courage to refuse what seemed impossible to deny. He looked at the ring, cold and gleaming, alive with malevolence. Mount Doom's fire and Sauron's malice felt distant yet omnipresent. This was a battle without a battlefield. A war fought not with fists but with the essence of his being. Could he survive? Could the Man of Steel endure what had undone kings, wizards, and hobbits alike? Then came clarity. The ring's true power lay in the desire to possess it. Superman felt no such desire. He had power already, unparalleled strength and speed, near immortality. But here the real measure was not power but restraint. His victory would come not from fighting, but from resisting. Yet even as he resisted, the ring tested him. Shadows flickered at the edges of his vision. Images of victory twisted into tyranny. Dreams of peace morphed into visions of destruction. Every heartbeat was a struggle. Every thought a battlefield. The ring's influence was relentless, seeking cracks in his resolve, searching for the moment he would falter. The question remained. Could he endure? Could a being whose body could withstand supernovas survive a force designed to corrupt minds and hearts? The answer, he realized, was not simple. It was a test not of strength, but of will. And so, Superman made a choice. He would not wield the ring. He would not succumb. He would resist even if the battle lasted a lifetime. For in this trial, the measure of a hero was revealed, not by what he could destroy, but by what he could resist. The ring pulsed in his hand, faint but alive, as if aware that Superman had chosen resistance. Yet the battle was far from over. Its whispers continued, weaving through his mind like a dark symphony, A subtle, irresistible rhythm promising everything he could ever want. Power, control, immortality. He had faced countless enemies before. Lex Luthor, Brainiac, even Darkseid himself. All had tested his body. All had pushed him to his limits. But the One Ring tested something else entirely. The core of his being, the essence of what it meant to be a hero. Images flooded his vision. The Shire, Mirkwood, Minas Tirith, and even Barad-dûr, all distorted by darkness, all under the shadow of the ring. Every scene carried temptation. Take me, change everything, end all suffering. And yet, intertwined with these visions were the consequences. Corrupted heroes, shattered realms, and a version of himself that he could not recognize. A tyrant cloaked in the guise of justice. Superman tried to use his strength, thinking he could crush the ring, melt it with heat vision, even shatter it with brute force. Each attempt failed. The metal bent, glowed, resisted. This power was beyond the physical. It thrived on the mind, on desire, on the silent whisper of ambition and fear. The truth hit him hard. The One Ring could not be defeated by force. Only the will could prevail. The whispers grew louder, more insistent. They touched memories of failure. Every life he couldn't save, every villain who had escaped his grasp. They promised he could fix everything, prevent every tragedy, if only he accepted the ring. The temptation was almost unbearable. Even Superman, with all his strength and moral clarity, felt the weight of it pressing against his soul. But he remembered those who had faced the ring before him. Frodo, a hobbit, small and fragile, had carried it to the brink of destruction and resisted long enough to see it undone. Gandalf, wise and patient, had guided without touching, teaching that power is a trap when sought for oneself. And above all, he remembered the lesson from Krypton. True strength lies in restraint. Power without discipline is meaningless. With every ounce of focus, Superman willed himself to resist. He turned his mind inward, anchoring himself in the principles that had always defined him. Justice, hope, compassion. Each memory of Lois, of Earth, of the countless innocents he had sworn to protect, became a shield. Each act of restraint was a hammer strike against the ring's insidious pull. The mental battle raged. The ring tried everything. Visions of adoration, whispers of fear, promises of omnipotence. It probed every doubt, every unspoken desire, every hidden frustration. But Superman did not falter. He had learned that the ring's power was not in the tangible, but in the intangible, in the craving for control. And he craved nothing but the protection of others. Then came the final test. The ring showed him the world as it could be if he yielded. An earth without pain, yet under his dominion. Every villain vanquished, every tragedy prevented, but at the cost of free will. The whispers became a roar. The shadows pressed closer. Even the Man of Steel felt the tension, the subtle pull of temptation. And in that instant, he made the choice that defined him. He rejected it, not with anger, not with force, but with certainty. He would not wield the ring. He would not reshape the world to his vision. The darkness recoiled. The whispers faded. Superman's resolve had triumphed over the ancient, malevolent power. Yet even in victory, he knew the ring remained. It was not destroyed. Its shadow lingered, a reminder that some forces could not be eliminated, only resisted. And in resisting, Superman proved something extraordinary. That true power is not measured by strength, but by the courage to remain uncorrupted. As he returned to Earth, the lesson weighed on him. Strength, speed, immortality, these were tools. But integrity, self-discipline, and the courage to resist temptation, these were what made a hero enduring. Superman had survived the One Ring, not by overwhelming it, but by mastering himself. He had faced an enemy older than worlds and emerged untainted. And while the ring's whispers still echoed across distant realms, Superman's survival sent a message across the universe. Even the darkest, most corrupting forces could be resisted, if the heart and mind were aligned in perfect harmony. The test was over, but the story remained, a testament to what it meant to be a hero in a universe of unimaginable threats.